good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, you ready to get back at it with the Broncos today?
Yeah, I am. Let's get going here. We've got 3 days of work, all in pads, apparently, coming up for the Broncos. So that should be somewhat interesting. No fans. Training camp is done now, so we'll see how that plays into things. But I would imagine a probably more, I think, a more focused kind of approach to things now, because I think that you're starting to now be able to tighten things up with your expectations on who's going to be on the roster, who might not be on the roster. So those are the types of things that we're looking forward to here in the next week. Cut down day, 1 week from today.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
It really is.
Hey, real quick, want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years. On Thursday, Planet Open Box having an auction for small appliances, sound bars, household goods, camping equipment, workout equipment, and more. Online bidding has started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Speaking of cut down day, I think Jaleel McLaughlin has solidified his role as the number 3 running back on this team. 3 carries, 48 yards. That included a 35-yard run on Saturday night against the Arizona Cardinals. So if the Broncos keep 4 running backs, we expect them to keep 4 tailbacks, to be more specific. Rank Estime, Watson, and Badie in order where they stand right now.
I think Badie is going to be the 4th guy in that room, and then they will take their chances on waivers with both Estime and Watson, unless something dramatic changes. And I don't know. I haven't had eyes on Audric Estime every single. Well, I mean, probably I have to some degree. Every single snap. Haven't been able to kind of grade him throughout training camp, other than my general sense that for whatever reason, he has not really. Early in camp, he had a couple of days where it was like, okay, I'm starting to notice him. I'm starting to pay attention to him a little bit. But he's looked like he's kind of running a little bit in quicksand here the first couple of weeks of exhibition season. So for whatever reason, it doesn't look like it's happening for him. Now, maybe they have a different view of him. Maybe they see other things. And I'm talking about the coaching staff. But I would be surprised to see him, based on what we've seen to this point, make the 53-man roster.
On a scale of 1 to 10, make this quick because I got a follow-up for you. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. When Bo Nix is on the field, your attention level is what number?
10.
Jarrett Stidham, what number?
Well, 10, 9, I mean, I guess. I mean,
yeah. Sam Ehlinger.
Probably 6.
Okay, so it's a 6 for Audric Estime too, because that's who he spends most of his time with. That's probably why you don't watch Estime as much. I mean, how much time do you honestly spend watching the guy battling it out to potentially be the 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string, 5th string offensive tackle?
And well, I watched him a lot in practice early. I mean, you do. I mean, there's a difference between watching a guy in a game or an exhibition and watching a guy in practice. I mean, you know when he's going to get, you basically understand when he's going to get reps. You pay a lot of attention when he's getting reps with ones, which he did through the first couple of weeks. So you pay much more attention then than you even do in the game. In a game, you pay attention to everything because hopefully you're watching everything and you're paying attention to what's going on. Not everybody does that, by the way, but most in the media are pretty vigilant about that. So, yeah, I just haven't seen myself, for the uninitiated or partially initiated, haven't seen enough to say Audric Estime is a guy that's going to make this roster.
And I'm trying to give you an out here, so please just take it. What I'm saying is it's human nature that when the first string guys are out there, they have your full attention. Second string guys out there, they have the majority of your attention. Third string guys out there, it's not like you're going to go, grab some water, go to the bathroom, grab a smoke, whatever it is. You're just not paying as much of attention. And that's when Audric Estime is out there. So I'm trying to give you an out here. That's why, maybe one reason why
there is no out, because you're painting with a broad brush. When Audric Estime is on the field, I pay attention, because that is a guy. Anytime that you're talking about a position group where there are questions about who's going to make the team or who's not, then I don't care whether the third guys are out there, the second guys, the 1.5 guys are out there. If you're trying to do your work the right way and you're paying attention to Watson and Estime and Watson, guys who are on the edge potentially of making this team, then you should be paying attention. So while your point in general, you're right. When you get to a certain point, you're not going to pay much attention to, for instance, how much will we pay attention to the threes this weekend? I mean, so you got to really think about where are the questions, and when are they playing? Look, if the starters are going to play 10 snaps, 2 series, whatever the case may be, then who's playing with the third teamers? And does it really have much of anything to say about who's going to make this team? Has Audric Estime done enough to this point, even with a good showing in the game on Saturday, to make this roster? I don't know the answer to that. Sean Payton probably does, but I don't know the answer to that. I would suggest probably not.
Generally speaking, I think the easiest room to predict is the wide receiver room. They will be taking 6 guys.
Yes.
And we know who all 6 guys are. We do not need to run through them. With that, on Saturday, the Broncos had 5 pass catchers who caught at least 50 yards in passes. And all of them, and I'm sure you probably know this, but for those that don't, of those 5 guys who caught at least 50 yards worth of passes, all of them averaged over 17 yards a catch, which is an eye-popping number when you actually look at the box score. So with that, how often do you think this season we're going to see at least 3 or maybe 4 guys occasionally in a game catch at least 50 yards worth of passes?
I think 3 is a pretty good number.
I
mean, if you're asking me, and our tried and true over under, I'd set on 3. And then probably say on occasions you're going to get another guy over that number. We saw Evan Engram get it in 1 catch.
Yeah.
So and look, I'm not counting on that each and every week. There's a big difference when you're playing against ones and when you are playing in the heat of battle in games that mean something. So you got to be careful about just kind of figuring that it'll transfer over from preseason to regular season, and we know that's not the case. But to your point, and it's a good one, there is depth with confidence in the receiving room, and I do think it goes 6 deep. Sherfield has been good. He's had a very good camp, no question. He was outstanding in San Francisco. I wish that Devon Vele has been a little. I just wish that we've seen him more. He hasn't been as available as those other 5 guys, but when we have seen him, we've seen him do things that make us say, we're glad this guy is going to be in this room, because he can make plays. He can high point balls. He can make plays downfield. He's going to be a good football player. So, no, I think that there you have a very real possibility on numerous occasions to have 350-yard pass catchers. And because I do think that the offense will specify moving the ball around in space.
Okay, so humor me here. I believe the last time the Broncos had a pair of 1,000-yard wide receivers, goes back to the Super Bowl year, which Demarius caught about 1,300 yards in passes, and Emmanuel had about 1,100 yards worth of passes. Now, just for fun, and while it's not necessarily relevant for, this show or for this season, just to put in perspective how great the Broncos receiving room was or pass catching room was, let's go back to 2013, which was a record-breaking season for them in terms of wide receivers and certainly the number of yards that Peyton Manning passed for, which was close to 5,500. Demarius, 1,400 yards. Eric Decker, nearly 1,300. Julius Thomas, nearly 800. Wes Welker, nearly 800. How many guys do you think will have at least 600 yards worth of catches this year?
I think that you'll have 3 guys with at least 600 yards.
Me too.
That'd be my number.
So we'll go with Sutton. We'll certainly go with Evan Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
So now who's the other guy?
I think it's going to be Troy Franklin. I think that there has been a developed trust, a long existing trust between Bo Nix and Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to manifest itself now on the NFL level. It's not just Troy Franklin running free because he's faster than college guys trying to cover him. There is now some real, there's an understanding of how to go about your work at this level for Troy Franklin. And you see it in the way that he runs routes now. You see where he ends up, where the ball ends up. You see, you just see that from him. And I think, and his athleticism and his size, the combination thereof, and the fact that he catches the ball, Eric. I mean, you throw it to him, he generally catches the football. So I think that he's a guy that I would really put a lot of trust in. And I think that the Broncos are putting trust in him. And I think that Sean Payton said as much on Saturday. It's happening. That's his words. It's happening with Troy Franklin. So I'm excited about him. And that's not to say that Marvin Mims, who's a big hitter, right? I mean, he's a downfield big hitter, couldn't get there as well. I just think that they will probably use him a little bit differently. And that's taking away from the possibilities of Vele or Pat Bryant, who already has been productive in the preseason. They've got some options. It's pretty exciting.
Generally speaking, in sports, we refer to the phrase any given Sunday with the NFL. But every sport is an any given Sunday. Any sport, baseball, hockey, whatever. And it becomes any given Sunday when a team beats themselves. Generally speaking, if the Ravens are going to take on the Carolina Panthers, the only way the Ravens are going to lose the game is if they beat themselves. Is that fair to say?
That certainly has a lot to do with it, right?
It sure does. Right now, the Broncos are not at the point where they can say, if we make a bunch of mistakes, we can still win. We just can't, turn the ball over 5 times in a game. They are not at that point yet. The Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, they are teams that can make some mistakes and still beat you. Right now, the Broncos offense, and I know it's a lot of second teamers, looks excellent in terms of the points they have scored in the preseason. Defense looks outstanding with the numbers and the points they have given up, which has been very few. However, how concerned should Sean Payton be that this team might beat itself this season, as they have compiled 22 penalties over the opening 2 preseason games, and in the last one, 7 pre-snap penalties. They are not at that point where they could be making a whole bunch of mistakes and still expect to win games.
Absolutely right. A lot of second and third teamers over the first 2 weeks playing a lot of minutes. That's only part of the equation. The rest of it has to become a point of emphasis, and I would imagine this week and in the next couple of weeks of preparation leading up to the to the opener, that will be a real point of emphasis. This team cannot function even close to that level. And in fairness, I will defer to, I'll look back to a year ago when they generally weren't that kind of football team. So
Right.
you would think that they would come closer to replicating that than all of a sudden becoming penalty happy. Remember, 86% of this football team returns from a year ago. And now, I mean, we haven't gotten through cuts yet, but you know what I'm saying. Retention of roster, which means retention of an understanding of how things have to be done and the demands of a coaching staff on how they will be done. I don't think that it would be a concern for me right now based on what I know about what they've done and who they are. But, 11 penalties is 11 penalties. And that's a real thing. You got to work on it. And I would imagine that they would.
Sean Payton, like most coaches, they don't want to lean on rookies very much. If you have a first-round pick, generally speaking, you're going to lean on that rookie to a decent extent. We had this conversation after the draft. We had this conversation after OTAs. And now that training camp is over, let's have this conversation again because we certainly have a heck of a lot more data. Which rookies will have the most impact on this roster? Who will be number one? Not who we hope will have the most impact. Who do you believe will have the most impact?
RJ Harvey is going to have the most impact.
You believe that or you hope that?
Both.
Cap.
Both. And I know that, and actually I do believe that. I think RJ Harvey, just the number of reps that he is going to get and in the positions that he's going to get them, I think that he's going to have his hands on the football a good deal.
Yeah.
So RJ Harvey to me would be, my best guess based on things right now as the most influential rookie. Then I would think it would be Jahdae Barron and Pat Bryant would be next on that list.
You know who was next on the list for both of us? 3 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whatever it was, weeks ago, it was Harvey, Barron, Crawshaw. That was our order.
Yeah.
Now, with Crawshaw, the punter, you're wondering, is he going to be able to dial in enough consistency to even keep his job?
I think, fair. I think he'll keep his job, but I thought it was interesting that on 4th and short, they ended up, Sean had no hesitation to roll him out there, I think more than anything, because he just wanted to see him kick. Right? He only ended up getting 2 kicks in the game. I mean, the offense was so efficient and so dominant that he really didn't get very many options. And it's difficult to create those moments, especially for a kicker. But there's a lot of opportunities to get work in over the next 2.5, 3 weeks. And I would imagine they'll get a lot of work in with Jeremy Crawshaw, who it's not like he kicked it poorly.
Right.
I mean, his distance was good, but he's got to get his hang time a little bit better. And he just needs consistency. His leg is not within question. You and I have sat there slack-jawed, watching the ball boom off of this guy's leg.
Yeah,
he's got a thunderfoot, but his lack of consistency could hurt this team in terms of field position in its current state. He needs to be more consistent, and you can't have balls slicing off of your foot at the wrong time of a game. That's just not negotiable. But I do think that they have patience with him. He is a draft pick, so they've actually They've invested in him to a degree, and I think that he will get his chance.
Okay, so generally speaking, teams do not like to release draft picks. It makes them look bad. Crawshaw is a draft pick. I think they'll be patient with him. When the final cuts come down, they drafted Caleb Lohner. Are they cutting him, hoping to put him on the practice squad?
Yeah, I mean, because I think the question becomes how attractive is Caleb. Remember, it's not another team just picking him up and putting him on his practice squad. It's another team
53.
putting him on his 53. You and I have talked about that a ton, and that's the deterrent, right?
You would have to be arguably one of the worst GMs in football if you put Caleb Lohner on your 53. Not a knock on him. He's just not ready.
Right. And I think that Payton will be very much counting on that. And I don't think that that's probably.
There's always one out there that's dumb enough to do it.
Well, you're right. There is.
The Cleveland Browns are on the line.
Oh my God.
They want to use him as a tight end and a quarterback. How much can we get for him? A second round pick? Kevin Stefanski will take that.
I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with their 5 quarterbacks. 5.
I think it's pretty obvious what they're going to do.
You would think Flacco and then Gabriel and Sanders.
That's the room.
Yeah,
Pickett,
it should be.
They're going to try and trade Pickett if they can get any value for him, and he really hasn't shown a lot so far in training camp because he's been injured quite a bit. I don't know what in the world they're going to get for him.
Right.
So, I think those will be your 3. The question is, will it be Gabriel Sanders or Sanders and Gabriel? Coming up after the break, Lone Tree's mayor. She is interested in the Broncos. So is Lone Tree. How do the Lone Tree Broncos sound to you? And do you have a problem with the name, which it wouldn't be literally, the Lone Tree Broncos? If you live in Denver and you consider yourself a Denverite, does it bother you that, God forbid, the team doesn't play in Denver proper? Is it really going to get your panties in a bunch? That's next. Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or over $25,000 in cash. The weekly cash drawings are every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Players can earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming players' points on their players' cards. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, phenomenal promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Hot takes. Goodman and Haertl want to tell you about Nola Jane. I absolutely love this place. If you've never had authentic Cajun food, this is really the only place in town to really get it. Their head chef, Mike Goldman, has won awards for numerous different dishes. I believe he, in the last year, won an award for Best Chicken Sandwich. That is hardly Cajun. That's how good of a chef this guy is. And the menu is fantastic. I love the blackened catfish with dirty rice. Their gumbo, their sausage gumbo with dirty rice is award-winning. Their crawfish etouffee, easily one of the best meals I have ever had. I say this a lot, and I'm not saying it jokingly. Whenever I literally talk about it, I think I would love a bowl of that right now. It's really that good. Their homemade cornbread is fantastic. They do homemade key lime pie, which is outstanding. And something that you should try is their barbecue, their barbecue mac and cheese with shrimp, which has just the right amount of heat. I know that's something that you would have, Bruce.
Yep.
You should definitely try. Go check out Nola Jane. And with the Nuggets and the Avalanche getting ready to start and concerts at Ball Arena, Nola Jane's right around the corner from there, so make it your pre- and post-game party. Go up on the roof, top deck, and have a hurricane. What a great place to go. Fun, great food, great drinks. Nola Jane. You can find them off of Market Street in Denver. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Nola Jane in the heart of Lodo. No one does Cajun cuisine better than Nola Jane. Go see why their award-winning menu is the best in town.
All right, Lone Tree's mayor tells 9 News she's had exploratory and constructive talks with the Broncos about moving their stadium or moving a new stadium or building a stadium near I-25 and C-470. How would you feel if the Broncos took the deal with Lone Tree instead of staying in the city of Denver in Burnham Yard?
I would prefer that they stay within the city limits. Burnham Yard's fine. But I also understand that they're trying to make the best decision for them as
financial decision.
That doesn't bother me. I mean, it doesn't. Right? That doesn't bother me. This is America, right? I mean, this is you have the right to do what's best for you and your business,
right?
Yes, my preference would be to remain. I like the feel of being downtown Denver, wherever that might be. I think that it just gives it a really good, strong vibe. But let's face it, Eric, anywhere that the Broncos set up shop for a game on Sunday in the NFL, whether it was Lone Tree, Lone Brook, Lone Fish, I don't care where.
Lone Fish.
What lone place it would be.
Right.
They would not be alone because 72 or 78,000 of their best friends would show up every single week. I give them some latitude to do what's best for them and to do for them what they think is best for the Broncos.
Here's an out-of-the-box idea. I think everybody who lives in Denver proper, which I do not, you do, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think it should be up for a vote. Okay? A vote. Everybody who lives in the city of Denver gets a ballot. Do you want the Broncos to stay in Denver? How important is it to you? And if they say it's really important, you collect all the ballots. And if over 50% of the people, actually, it doesn't even matter how many people vote for it. But let's say it's 50%. Okay? For those 50% that voted, yes, it's very important to us that the team stays in Denver. You've just got hit with an 8% tax to build a stadium. And if you don't want it in Denver, you don't have to pay any tax. So put your money where your mouth is. Is it really that important to keep him in Denver? Because to the best of my knowledge, actually, you know what? Alex just told me we had some breaking news, and let me tell you what it is. The Broncos just re-released their schedule. Did you hear about this?
I hesitate to ask.
They did. They re-released their schedule, and this is what their upcoming schedule looks like. This season, they will be playing the Inglewood Rams, the Inglewood Chargers, the East Rutherford Giants, the East Rutherford Jets, the Santa Clara 49ers, the Arlington Cowboys, the Landover Commanders, the Glendale Cardinals, the Miami Gardens Dolphins, and the Orchard Park Bills. Those will be the new teams on the schedule. None of those cities have a problem with it.
Right. I don't think it's that big a deal at the end of the day, but personal preference would be somewhere, just because I like the vibe of being downtown. I like the energy of downtown. I like that. I like the fact that Denver has all of its, with respect to the Rapids and Commerce City.
Yeah.
I'll put that aside.
Cheap land.
Yeah.
Cheap land.
Right. Yeah.
That's
and
what
I get
it's
it.
about. Cheap
And I
land. I'm
totally
going to give you
get it.
another reason why the Broncos should consider Lone Tree. A lot of players, at least back in the day, and I'm guessing still today, live in Parker. They live down south.
Yeah.
They live near the facility. I-25 and C-470 can't be more than an 8-minute drive from the Broncos facility.
Right.
And how do I know this? I drive it. So I'm more than familiar with it. But the problem is, for all of the great things the Penner family has done, the Walton Penner family has done for this community, for high school sports, for a new field for one game, for doing better by the players and giving them contracts to keep them with the team. Sadly, I think that if the Broncos go to Lone Tree, those fucking Penners taking them out of Denver, how dare they?
I would hope it wouldn't be that severe.
Yeah, it would be that severe. I do believe it would be. People would be pissed because I read a lot of stuff on social media. And remember, whether you like social media or not, these are people. These are fans. They do have opinions, and they're pretty adamant. They want the team to stay in the city of Denver because it is called the Denver Broncos. And personally, I don't know why they're so hung up on it. I grew up in Chicago. If the Bears want to move to Arlington Heights, go for it. I can tell you right now, the traffic going down to Soldier Field for a Bears game is nothing short of brutal.
Oh, yeah. That is not fun. Not fun.
Right.
Right. It's not a issue that moves me to any kind of aggressiveness. I can tell you that. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, because you didn't grow up a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up in Denver. For those that grew up in Denver, they want their Denver team to play in Denver. I understand how they feel, but to me, it's not like the stadium is going to be out in, I don't know, Monument, right? Which is south of Castle Rock. That would be way out there. But if you're inside C470, you're still kind of close, but it's about money for them. I don't blame them if they want to have a stadium that's not going to be as expensive close to their facility. I don't have a problem with that at all. But then again, I'm not from Denver, so I guess I don't get a vote.
No. Well, you're as much of a Denverite as anyone else, for goodness sakes, just not a native. But here's the deal. I mean, they're going to build a facility that it will be next level, in that it will mean that they could probably host a Super Bowl. Now,
they could do it in either location. They could do it in either location. Well, sure they could do it in Lone Tree. They could do it in Denver. I think the Broncos want to build a community around it, which would probably be nice. That's why I think Lone Tree is so excited, because of the potential infrastructure dollars going into that part of the state. So certainly it's going to
Right.
be appealing. Plus, I mean, it's right next to two major arteries, which I would think would help with traffic, right?
Yeah, without
Tremendously.
question.
I
Absolutely.
think it'd be a lot better than it is now.
Yeah. My only argument is based on preference, not on anything else. My attitude is, hey, it's your team. Do what you think is best for not only your team, but for the Broncos and the city of Denver, if whatever the case is. If they're in Lone Tree, great. Good. People will still go and people will be happy about it. And if they're going to the playoffs and challenging for Super Bowls, it's not going to make one damn bit of difference to anyone.
Okay, with that, Terrion Arnold was sitting down with Kay Adams, who was recently in Denver, and he broke some news yesterday. Terrion Arnold, Lions cornerback, says he is starting a podcast with Pat Surtain. As a media member, is this a must listen or I'll listen when I have time?
This is I will listen at least once.
Yeah.
And then probably, and then we'll move on from that point based on what I've heard. But you know,
but he
when
could be breaking
you have a guy
news.
like him talking,
he could be breaking
be.
news. I mean, that's the beauty of today's media landscape. Guys are doing their own podcasts. Guys have their own video production companies to break their own news, right? So it's almost like we have to listen.
No, you're absolutely right.
Or we better hope
you have to pay attention. Yes.
Or we better hope that their social media people put out clips that we gravitate towards in the media so we don't have to listen to the podcast.
We should try that.
Alex, you're our social media guy. How's that going?
It's going pretty solid, guys. It's going well.
You're doing a very good job now. Get the hell out of our show, okay? Get out of here. This is about Bruce. Bruce gets very jealous if he doesn't get enough airtime. Here's the only thing about a Surtain podcast. His personality, and you didn't cover him, but his personality reminds me of Champ Bailey. Publicly, to us, in the locker room, he's a pretty soft-spoken guy, far from controversial, not a guy who's going to stir it up, pretty laid back. For all we know, there's a whole different side to Pat Surtain. People will listen to Pat Surtain because he was the Defensive Player of the Year, and right now his trajectory is towards the Hall of Fame. While it will be informational, I have no doubt, how entertaining do you think it'll be? Because really, that's what keeps people.
Yeah, you got to have a little meat on the bone, right? I mean, that's basically the reality of any kind of podcast, radio show, whatever the case may be. You've got to give people a reason to chew on that bone or to come back and look for more. And it's not necessarily automatic. You've got to have some aptitude for it. Jason and Travis Kelce are damn good at it. They're good at what they do. Their podcast is always interesting. It's generally provocative. You might get a little Taylor Swift sighting every now and then. That's not important to me, but it can be certainly important to a lot of others.
But those guys are entertaining. But hold on, those guys are.
You just don't sit down and start.
Those guys are entertaining anyway. So that's not a problem. They're informative.
Yeah,
they're big names. They're both Hall of Famers, and they both will say and do crazy things. Pat Surtain doesn't strike me that way. Pat Surtain does not strike me as a guy who's going to go to a playoff game for another team like, I don't know, Jason did for his brother's game and didn't have his shirt on when it was freezing cold. I don't really picture Pat Surtain as that type of guy. Right?
I would agree with you. I think you're right. I think you're right on target. Absolutely. I think we're safe in that regard. Pat is an understated guy. He's not like, for instance, you joke with me a lot about the notes that I take and but there's a method to my madness. I'll star things when I go through a press conference, and a star certainly means to me that's the thing that I heard that I need to go back and listen to make sure I understood exactly what it meant, and whether or not it actually moved the meter for me a little bit. Very few stars with Pat Surtain. Very few.
I have been, first of all, I've never made fun of you for stars because I do the same thing. But I can tell you where you do make fun of me. You know me, I'm down with OCD. With the way we put together show notes, it has to be a certain font style. It has to be a certain font size. It has to be a certain font color. That is a little over the top. To which that's what you do with me. You make fun of me, pal. I don't make fun of you. Let's get real here for a minute.
No,
please.
I take my
You're guilty.
punishment, and I will
You're
go
guilty
hide
of
like
that.
a good little boy. Yes,
Right. I don't make fun of
give
your.
you trouble about that on
I
occasion.
do not make fun of your note taking. As a matter of fact, when it comes to watching games, you and I, and we've known each other for a long time, but I had a past life too in this business before you and I met. I know that seems shocking. I've watched you take notes during a football game. That's the way I used to do the same thing. So I don't make fun of anything I don't make fun of you. There's no reason to make fun. Look at you. You're perfect in every single way.
Oh my God. I don't know about that.
Why would I make fun of you when I do the same thing? It's just I become your easy mark anytime I do something. You are the mean one in this relationship, not me.
I'm a mean man. I've been told that before. I'm a mean man. So there you go.
Right.
No, it's all good. I will be. In summation, I will say this: Patrick Surtain, when he walks softly and carries a very large stick. So you better pay attention to at least what he is doing initially with something that is, I wouldn't have picked Pat Surtain for a podcast. He would be one guy that I would think, probably not. I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, just probably not. But I will pay attention to him early on in whatever form this podcast takes, whenever it takes it.
Real quick, give me a guy or two on the Broncos that if they did a podcast, you'd say, I'd listen to that.
Well, I would certainly listen to Bo Nix do a podcast. I mean, just because of who he is. Just because of who he is.
Well, I'm not referring to that. Yes, the information is going to be great. He's not going to say anything provocative, and he doesn't come across as being overly entertaining. You need one of those two things to sustain a podcast in terms of how long that podcast is going to go on. Now, Bo Nix walks into the door being Bo Nix, so people are going to listen anyway. But the question is, how will you listen for a month? Will you listen for a year? Will you listen for years? Eventually, you have to bring some entertainment value, and you have to be able to say something every once in a while that's provocative.
All right.
So who checks that box with the Broncos?
Malcolm Roach, DJ Jones, right? And I think Jonathan Cooper would be good at it. I mean, those are three guys right off the cuff. Roach would be probably the top. That's where I would start with him. He would be appointment listening. He's just that entertaining. And then you get down to I think Marvin Mims would be interesting because he's got a very dry kind of wit.
How about Mims and Roach doing a podcast?
That would be pretty entertaining. Those two, because you'd have a yin and a yang.
Right. And we could call it, I don't know, Fat Guy and Shorty.
Sure. It would work. Absolutely. They gave us two of the best moments of the preseason. And so for that, we're very thankful. But but really, when you stop to think of it, probably not a wide range of guys on this football team. You've got a few that it would be pretty good appointment listening, but by and large, probably not as many as maybe on some other teams.
They don't have a lot of characters on that team.
Not really.
The Broncos no-fly zone
Oh,
had more characters than this entire team, and there were only 5 of them.
right.
And it doesn't mean all, because Darian Stewart
No.
was not a character. TJ, Akib, Chris Harris, and in some ways maybe Bradley.
Yeah. Roby was okay. I mean, but Akib Talib might be the most engaging pro that I've ever known.
Well, Chris Harris does do a podcast. He does a couple of them, actually.
And he does a great job too.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris does a great job. But Akib, there's a spontaneity about Akib that is just like perfect for the type of thing that we're talking about. He's just that kind of guy.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl. We'll tell you about how practice went tomorrow. Make it the best possible day you can.